New mechanic alert! Welcome back to Elestrals Academy for this beguiling and maddening episode where we will go over the brand new Dazed and Enraged mechanics so you can get stars swirling around your opponent's head in a clash. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Dazed is simple. No attacking. You cannot attack with a Dazed Elestral. Enraged is a little more complex. You must attack, and during the controller's battle phase, the Enraged Elestral must be in attack position. Now, neither Enraged or Dazed has a built-in specification for how long they last. Much like other effects such as suppression, how long they last is entirely dependent on the card that applied it. Say Timber, for example, simply says you can target an opponent's Elestral and enrage it, with no specified time, meaning the enraged lasts indefinitely in theory. Now, its effect forces it back to your opponent's hand, which is probably when it ends, but in theory that enrage can last forever. Dionysus, on the other hand, specifically says the effect lasts until your next turn. Now, you also need to understand that Dazed and Enrage are mutually exclusive conditions. Say Timber can enrage an opponent Elestral, but the opponent can use an effect such as Dionysus to daze it and remove the condition. When you apply a new condition, it deletes the old one. So even though, say, Timber's Enraged lasts longer than Dionysus's Dazed, once Ankylosurge stops being dazed, the condition simply goes away. The Enraged is not still around to take effect again. You can re-enrage or re-daze an Elestral that already has one of those conditions. There isn't a whole lot of reason to do so. If the new condition lasts longer, you can extend it, but it doesn't delete the old condition. So if the old condition lasts longer, its time is still relevant. The Elestral also doesn't count as being enraged or dazed in that moment since it was already enraged or dazed. This is similar to suppression. If you suppress an already suppressed Elestral, it does not become suppressed. It was already suppressed. This is relevant though, because some cards like Dionysus's Madness do something additional on top of the Daze or Enrage. So you could use the heal or position change of Dionysus's Madness by dazing or enraging an Elestral that already has that condition if you need to. Now, these are point-in-time applications of these conditions, but passive versions of them also exist. Barabas, for example, can become a stadium, and when it does, all of the Elestrals that are not Earth or Water enchanted become dazed. The Thyrsias of Dionysus, Dionysus's featured artifact, also will passively enrage the Elestral it is empowered to. For these passive applications of the statuses, it is important to understand that the most recently activated effect wins. So let's look at an example of Barabas as a stadium with an Ass Rabbit on the field. That Barabas is going to daze the Ass Rabbit. You can use Dionysus to enrage the Ass Rabbit and allow it to attack this turn. Once that enraged ends, because Barabas is passive, the daze condition will return because the Barabas is always applying the dazed condition. It's not a point-in-time application like something like, say, Timber. You can fix this indefinitely by putting a Thyrsias on the Elestral, empowering it and making it passively enraged as long as the Thyrsias exists. Because the Thyrsias was activated last, it will continuously keep the Elestral enraged even though Barabas is on the field. Now, to circle back to the basic definitions, dazed is very simple, no attacking. But the position changing element of enraged does have some interesting things that we should spend a little bit of more time talking about. So let's double click on it momentarily. At the start of your battle phase, the enraged Elestral must change to attack position. And during your battle phase, if an Elestral becomes newly enraged, it switches to attack position. So a Dionysus's Madness, which is a counter rune, can mid-battle phase enrage something and force it to attack position. During your battle phase, enraged Elestrals cannot be changed to defense. So an attacking enraged Elestral cannot be tsunami'd to stop the attack. An effect that would change its position to defense just simply does nothing. Now, it's really important to understand that enraged is only for your battle phase, the controller of the enraged Elestral's battle phase. If you use Dionysus's Madness to enrage an Ass Rabbit on your turn, it will not change to attack position. It won't change to attack position until its controller's battle phase. And even though you can prevent your Elestral from getting tsunami'd with enraged, if it is your battle phase, an opponent can still use Tsunami to change their enraged Elestral to defense position. So you can't enrage an Ass Rabbit that is in attack position, enter battle phase, and force it to stay in attack position. The attack position lock is only during the controller's battle phase. Enraged is not a free eddy when you activate it. Some effects, like Madness, allow you to change positions in some circumstances, but Enraged by itself is explicitly only during the controller's battle phase. You do not get to go around and use Enraged like an eddy at will. So it's really important to understand it's the controller's battle phase. If you understand that, you will really effectively be able to enrage your opponent. It's also really important to understand that Enraged only forces an attack when the Elestral is able to do so legally. If that Elestral is Gorgon's Gazed, it cannot attack. Gorgon's Gaze still prevents attacking. If there is a Fungite and Harpy lock that does not allow you to legally declare an attack, you still cannot attack even if you are enraged. If you have less than 2 spirits in Spirit Deck and Sirocco of Notice is activated, you cannot pay the cost to declare the attack, and therefore the enraged Elestral will not attack. You cannot use Sirocco of Notice to trick an opponent into expending themselves out of the game. What, am I the only one who remembers Sirocco of Notice? You all don't think about Sirocco of Notice every day? Okay, I guess that's just me. With all of this information, you should have a decent grasp on the new mechanic, and you should be able to make your opponent see stars in no time, with an enraging display of glorious knowledge in a clash. If you enjoyed this video, you should consider subscribing. And if you want to watch more, YouTube thinks you'll like this video over here. Thank you so much for joining another session of Elestrals Academy. Get out there and have some happy clashes, my fellow casters. I'll see you in the next one.